Hello everyone. In this video today we're going to create a virtual machine that we're going to use to study for the AZ500 exam. So let me go log in to the Azure portal, and I'm actually already logged in. So what we're going to start, we're going to create a resource, and let's create a Windows Server 2016 data center. So if you click on it, it's going to give you the details. That's the subscription. That's the only subscription I have, so I'm going to select that one. For this exam, let's create AZ500 RG. So that's the resource group that I'm going to create. For your virtual machine name, call it AZ500 VM. So that's the VM we're going to use for a lot of different for different things. Region is fine right now. No infrastructure redundancy required. That is okay with me. And anyway, at this region you cannot even have any redundancy available to you. If you want redundancy available, you at least have to go to some other region. So that's also not available at this time. Image is fine. For size, I'm going to choose one step higher. So let's choose DS2 V2. Let me go back and make sure which one we already had. Let's come back over here. Resource group. AZ500 RG. Okay, then virtual machine name is the 500 VM, and this is fine. And so it was DS1 V2. I want to do DS2 V2. Let me see if I can do that. DS2 V2. Okay, I think that's the one I want. Just to get a little bit better performance for this, I'm just gonna use username and password. Then okay, got my username and password, so this looks good. Next is on the disk. Right now I'm okay with the premium SSD. I can actually change that to HDD if I like, but I don't need to. Or I can use just a standard SSD for now, or standard. Let's use standard HDD because I don't. The Silk FMSI supports premium disk. We recommend. So it will tell you that you can use the premium disk, but since I do not want to waste money, and I don't need the virtual machine to have a 99.99% availability at this time, so I'm just gonna skip on it. Encryption type, default encryption at rest with platform managed key. So that's a default. If you want to do a customer managed key, then you have to go through a whole bunch of another steps, and that we don't want to do at this time. I'm just good with this. I don't want any other disks attached to this at this time, so let's go move on to the networking. Virtual network, it's all good. What we'll do, we'll just change the name just a little, call it AZ500 virtual network. And for the address, let's use a slightly different address over here. Okay, so hold on. Alright, over here for the IP address, the default one was 10.0.0/24. That only gives me 256 address space. So let's modify this, get rid of that one. So I'm gonna use this one, 10.0.0/16, and once I have this, and I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'm not sure why it's telling me that it overlaps with 10.0.0.24. 2024. Maybe I already have another address space, so let's try this. Try 1. Since I have not a valid CID here, so 10.0, 10.1.0.16. I have an extra 0 here, so let's fix it. Alright, so this is the address range that we're gonna use, and over here let's use 10.1.0.0/24. Oh, sorry, that's the subnet name, so let's call it subnet A. Subnet A, come on, subnet A, and address range 10.1.00 and go for 24. So notice that this the VNet that I'm configuring, that has an address space 10.1.0.0, and it can contain up to that many 65,536 addresses can be assigned. Now this big address range I'm subdividing into multiple one. I'm creating a subnet A that is 10.1.0.0/24 that has 256 addresses. Now 5 of them are usually reserved for Azure, so you'll be able to use about 251 addresses in that space. Okay, and then you just hit OK, so you get that. NIC security group, I'm just gonna go with the basic options at this time. You can do advanced setup, but I'm not doing it this time. Public inbound ports, I'm just keeping the RDP. That's you will need to connect to that machine from your laptop, from your local laptop. And accelerated networking, everything else I'm just keeping it as a default option. I'm not doing anything else. Alright, we are done up to this screen, so next go to the management one. Monitoring, boot diagnostic, why not, let's keep that on. OS diagnostic, why not, just keep them on. Actually just keep them on. And the default one, diagnostic storage account, AZ500 RG DAG 433, it's fine, or we can do something like this, AZ500 maybe RG DAG storage. Okay, and account kind, I would always like to use the V2, and performance standard is good. And what kind of redundancy you want, LRS is good for me for now. System assign, manage identity off, auto shutdown off, backup off, so these are all okay with me for now. So here I'm gonna say okay. So I got the new little bit better naming convention over here. And then if you go to the next extension, I don't need to install any extension at this time. And Gen 1 is good for me. And next, tags, I'm not assigning any tags at the moment. I'll go review and create, and at this time it's just gonna tell me, it's telling me you have a RDP port that's open to the internet. This is only recommended for testing, and this is really for testing purposes. And at this VM, if I leave it on, looks like it's gonna charge me 25 cents an hour. That's okay with me. I have about a little bit money left for testing purposes. So you can review how you have already configured, and then just click on the create, and you can follow what's going on, the deployment. Okay, so it's gonna tell you what's going on in this place. Now I want to quickly show you one other thing. Like if you say somehow you lost that notification bar, there's another place where you can also take a look at what's going on, and that would be inside your resource group. Okay, so what you can do over here, you can look for the resource groups, and you should have the 500 resource group created, like right here. And usually within the resource group, okay, you have the deployments tab in here. So you can see create VM Microsoft Windows Server 2016. That status is deployment. That means we have started the deployment. It's just going to take a couple more minutes to finish up with the deployment process. Once it's done, it should show up in here. So I'm gonna pause the video for a second, and we'll come back in a few minutes. Alright, my friend, it looks like the deployment is now successful, and from the notification bar you can see that. So let's you can, from here you can click on go to resource. This is one of the way that you can get to the resource pretty quickly. And over here it says that it's running. That's the resource we have used. It's located in East US. It's giving you the computer name, operating system. Now you see that there I have two different IPs. This is the public IP that you can connect to directly from your machine, and there we go. So we have a virtual machine that's running. So now if you want to connect, you will just click on this button, and you just do RDP, since this is a Windows machine, and it's going to give you a file that you can download the RDP file. Now for myself, I'm on a Ubuntu machine, so RDP client is not as easy as, like, if you have a Windows, you can just click on OK, and it will give you all the it will ask you for username and password, and you are just in there. But with Ubuntu, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open this file with the text editor. That's what I'm gonna try. So, and I want to know my IP address, right? So I'm going to copy this one, and in Ubuntu I have a RDP client. There are many different RDP clients that you can use, but this is the one that I'm going to use today. It's called the Remmina remote desktop client, and I'm just going to put the server address, and I think you just do a connect on it. Certificate, you just accept the certificate. Now I'm just putting my username and password. Domain, I don't feel like I need to do anything for the domain. Let's try. Hit OK. There we go. So it's logging in to 1382.182.59. So that's the machine that we have just created. And you can see from a Ubuntu machine, that's my main Ubuntu box. From that machine we have used this Remmina RDP client to trying to log into the machine. It's still doing something. I'm still not there yet, so just give it a second. It's coming up. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Do you not want your PC to be discoverable? We recommend allowing this on your home and work, but not in public. Well, alright, I'll say no. And then I have it available. If I want, I can do stuff in here. That's my server. Let's do a CMD, just to prove that everything is working, and I'm in there. I'll just want to do IP config, and there we go. So everything is working just fine. If you notice, IPv4 address, it's 10.1.0.4, and we told my resource group to have a IP address range in 10.1.0.0/24 subnet, so that's the right address. Our default gateway at 10.1.0.1, So if I go back in here and let's verify overview, okay, that's internally that's the address that I have on that network card associated with it. That's in the right subnet. It's subnet A. DNS name I have not configured, and that's the public address. Now, well, while we are here, let's look at some other stuff. We can click on the activity tab. So this is just going to tell you health event updated and some stuff, created or updated the virtual machine extension, access control, who can access this machine. If I go to role assignment, it's I am based on my subscription. I inherited, and then there is looks like the PIM. These are all inherited. I have not really assigned any permissions or any roles, and I haven't given permission anyone to access this machine besides me. Well, I also got it inherited like by default. Tags, we didn't specify any tags during the deployment. This is not really required right now. Networking, so let's look at what we have. So network interface, that's the name of it, AZ500 VM 773. Virtual network subnet is subnet A. Here's the public IP, and there's the private IP. Accelerated network is enabled. Inbound rules, if you see, we have the RDP, that's something that's allowed, and all inbound, anything else, any other ports from all inbound is gonna be denied based on this rule. Okay, but also remember all Azure load balancer. This looks good. Outbound, let's look at outbound. For outbound, deny all outbound, allow VNet outbound, so that means it's allowed. So we can talk to other VNets. Allow internet outbound, yeah, so we should be able to go to internet and sort stuff. So if I let's go back to the Remmina, if we still have it over here available. Over here, so if I do ping google.com, I should get a response. So that's telling me that my virtual machine is already connected to the internet. So if I go and try to connect to some site, I should be able to do that as well. Okay, so let's go back, and so that's another thing that you should remember, that by default all the VMs that you create in Azure, they allow outbound connection to the internet. What connect we already looked at. Disk, you probably disk setting, manage disk created. We have encryption SSC. We already have that enabled. As your disk encryption will probably come back later and work on it as your disk encryption. This is not available to me. Size, it should tell you this is the size that we have selected. Security, we have not done anything and it does not have any recommendations yet, so you can look through this some more extension. I have never even looked at it. It's just saying provision succeeded. Let's see, configuration, just in time. If I want, I can enable that one. I'm not doing it at the time. For the licenses, this is a good thing. If you have already have a Windows Server license, you can enable that one to save about 49% of a license fee. Identity, system assign, user assign, we shouldn't have anything right now. A system assign manage identity enables Azure resource to authenticate to a cloud service like Azure Key Vault. We'll do some more work in here. Properties is just going to tell you the status that is running, the name of the computer. Probably it's another view of what's going on with your machine. Lock, we haven't really talked about it, so we can assign locks to any resource, even at a subscription level, at a resource group level, or to a particular resource. and there are usually two different kind of locks available: read only and delete lock. So if I do a read only lock, you can only only perform read operations. You cannot write anything, you cannot do anything. Delete lock, if I add that one, then you cannot delete this machine by any means, but you can perform any write actions. Okay, we're not gonna add any locks at this time. Another cool thing, export template over here. If you want to create the exact same configuration over and over again, you can download this template, and from here you can click on the download, or you can add to a library. It's in a preview mode, so let's create a Windows 16 VM template. Okay, and I'm gonna use the same thing once again over there, and sometimes this view, it will move, and all you need to do is grab the bar and move it back where you want to be. That's pretty much it. And please fix these errors, which probably does not take any space or anything like that, and like this. There we go. So a lot of times you will see the naming convention. Azure is very strict about how you're gonna name it, so just follow the naming convention and you should be good. So I have already saved that. If I want, I can reuse it. Now Bastion host, I haven't used this option very much. We'll come back and do some more work on it. Auto shutdown, this is something I would like to enable it, because if you enable it say 12 a.m., that means midnight, so it will turn off the machine. So if you're not really using it for production use and you are sleeping at night, it will not generate any cost for you. So I would like to have this enabled, and 12 a.m. is okay. Backup, sorry, let's save this one. Let's go back to auto shutdown one more time, make sure it has saved. It has not, so we'll have to click on it and then send notification. It's not even giving me any option. Why? I don't need any notification. Maybe it's saved, we'll see. Unsaved, okay, that's fine. Backup, I'm not creating any backup at this moment. We'll come back to this one as well. Disaster recovery is something you can enable. We're also not gonna do anything about that. There's update management, that you can see the status of the update condition within your Windows system. Not doing anything. Inventory, never used it, so we'll come back to some of these. Configuration management, I have policies that are enabled for this virtual machine, and it's telling me I have some of the policies that are non-compliant. We'll review that again. And monitoring, you have insights, alerts, then it will give you the metrics, how it's performing, CPU, memory, and all that stuff. Diagnostic settings is also going to give you CPU, memory, disk, network. Advisor, you will find this in many places. You can also find it under the security center. It's just going to tell you if they have any recommendation to make it more secure or make it more cost effective. Logs usually gives you, you gotta enable that. Once you have that, you can look at the logs. Here is connection monitor. So, and resource health is going to tell you what's going on with the VM. Then boot diagnostic, I don't know if you remember or not, we turned it on, so it's gonna keep some log over here. Download screenshot. You can reset the password, redeploy. You can do serial console, connection troubleshooting. Lots of options available. I just wanted to give you a quick review of this blades. It was really not my intention to go over in detail in any of these. So in this video, what we have done, we have deployed a Windows 2016 virtual machine in Azure environment, and we have connected to the virtual machine from Ubuntu laptop using Remmina RDP client, and we made sure that it's up and running and is working completely. Thank you for watching this video. Hope I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.